Mom, we're leaving tomorrow. I've sold your house. But she had no idea what her father had truly left behind. Sarah was 68 years old, a gentle woman with silver-streaked hair and eyes that had once sparkled with dreams. For the past year, since her beloved husband Ahmed passed away, those eyes had carried a quiet sadness. Ahmed had been a simple government clerk, punctual, hardworking, and famously frugal. He never bought expensive clothes, never took the family on lavish vacations, and always insisted on saving every extra rupee for a rainy day. Sarah had trusted him completely. They had built a modest life together in their small village home, filled with the laughter of their only daughter, Nadia. Nadia, now 35, had married Ali 8 years ago. Ali was ambitious, a businessman who loved luxury cars, designer clothes, and frequent trips abroad. After marriage, Nadia had slowly distanced herself from the simple village life. She moved to the city, into a sleek high-rise apartment, and visits to her mother became shorter and less frequent. "Mom, you're all alone in that big old house," she would say. "Why don't you sell it and move closer to us?" Sarah would just smile and change the subject. One ordinary Tuesday afternoon, Sarah was sitting in the waiting room of her doctor's clinic for a routine checkup. Her phone buzzed. It was Nadia, her voice unusually excited and breathless. "Mom, I have the best news. Ollie and I are finally going on our dream Europe trip, 6 whole months. Paris, Italy, Switzerland, everything we've been planning for years. Flights are booked for tomorrow morning." Sarah smiled faintly, happy to hear joy in her daughter's voice. "That's wonderful, Beta. You both deserve it. There's more," Nadia continued quickly, as if afraid to pause. "We were a little short on funds, so I took care of everything. I sold your old village house and Papa's car. The buyer paid really well. This money will cover the entire trip and more. Don't worry, Mom. I'll transfer some to your account for your medicines and expenses. You won't need that big house anyway. It's just collecting dust." The words hit Sarah like a sudden winter wind. Her hand tightened around the phone. That house wasn't just bricks and mortar, it was where she and Ahmed had started their life together. Where Nadia had taken her first steps, where they celebrated every Eid with homemade sweets, where Ahmed had planted the rose bushes that still bloomed every spring. And the car, it was the last thing Ahmed had touched, the one he drove to work every day until his final morning. Sarah's throat felt dry. She wanted to shout, to cry, to ask how Nadia could do this without even discussing it. But years of being the quiet, accommodating mother won. Her voice came out soft, almost a whisper. "Okay, Nadia. If that's what you think is best, enjoy your trip. Be safe." After hanging up, Sarah sat frozen in the clinic for a long time. The nurse had to call her name twice. That evening, she returned to the empty house that now felt even emptier. She wandered from room to room, touching the faded curtains Ahmed had hung, the wooden chair where he used to read his newspaper. As night fell, Sarah sat on the bed and opened the old steel almirah. At the very back was a yellowed envelope Ahmed had given her during his last days in the hospital. His weak hand had pressed it into hers. "Sarah," he had whispered, "only open this if you ever feel lost or alone. Promise me." She had forgotten about it in her grief. Now, with trembling fingers, she tore it open. Inside was a handwritten letter. "My dearest Sarah, you have been my strength for 42 years. I never told you this because I didn't want you to worry or change our simple life, but I was always afraid of leaving you unprotected. So, quietly, I invested whatever little I could save. Government bonds, small plots in the city, mutual funds, fixed deposits. I never touched them for luxuries because our happiness was in the little things. Everything is in your name only. The documents are attached. The city apartments, yes, including the one Nadia and Ollie live in, I bought it as an investment years ago. The bank accounts, the shares, it's all yours now. I did this so no one could ever take advantage of your kind heart. You never have to depend on anyone, my love. Live with dignity, the way we always did. Forever yours, Ahmed." Sarah's hands shook as she went through the papers. There were property deeds for 5 apartments in prime city locations, one of them clearly marked as the luxury flat where Nadia and Ollie lived rent-free. Bank statements showed balances in crores, built patiently over decades. Stock portfolios that had grown steadily. Even the village house and land around it were solely in her name, with no joint ownership. Tears rolled down her cheeks, but for the first time in a year, they weren't tears of loneliness. They were tears of awe at the man who had loved her so deeply, so quietly. The next morning, as Nadia and Ollie excitedly loaded their designer suitcases into a taxi headed to the airport, Nadia's phone rang. It was the building manager. "Ma'am, urgent notice. The actual owner of your apartment has terminated your tenancy effective immediately. You have 48 hours to vacate." Nadia laughed nervously. "There must be some mistake. We own this place."
"No, ma'am.
Records show it's owned by a Mrs. Sarah Ahmed. She's instructed us directly." Panic rising, Nadia called her mother. Sarah squeezed her hand. "We all make mistakes, Beta. Your father forgave me, for mine many times. Now I forgive you. Family isn't about money or houses. It's about coming back when you realize what's truly important." From that day on, things changed. Nadia visited often, not out of duty, but love. The city apartment was rented out properly, and the income helped Sarah live comfortably, while still keeping the village home that held her heart. And every spring, when the roses bloomed brightest, Sarah would sit on the porch and whisper to the wind, "Thank you, Ahmed. You protected us all, even from ourselves." Hope this longer version touched your heart. Let me know if you want it even more extended or any specific changes. Red Heart.